Hello, hi everyone. Very good afternoon to a lot of you again. Today, welcome to our Marketing Institute of Singapore Lunchtime Webinar. It's our 15 days. Sorry, it's our 16th day of our webinar, and thanks for joining us. Like what I said, time really flies. In fact, we're very excited to actually give you another lineup of speakers, which we'll reveal tomorrow. Like what I said, we're going to keep you company throughout the whole COVID lockdown period, right up to the end of May, perhaps even beginning of June. Okay, so it all depends on the situation. Then, by then, should we decide to continue or there are further measures in terms of lockdown, we will decide then. But do look out for our next suite of speakers coming out. This coming week, in fact, on Friday, we'll be having someone from China who is linked, sort of government link, from the China Council of Promotional International Trade, Commercial Sub-Council, by the name of Mr. Jack Yao. He's also the Vice President of the Asia Marketing Federation. He'll be joining us to speak in our webinar this coming Friday. So do look out for it. Okay. All right. And of course, at the same time on our Facebook, as in every day, our sessions will be posted on Facebook itself. All right. So you can actually have a look on the screen itself. This is MIS, okay, our mission. And these are the suite of speakers for this week. And today, in fact, we will be having Miss Cecilia Sim with us. The topic that she'll be touching on will be proactively getting into the selling action. Okay, I'll tell you more about Cecilia Sim. She's a very interesting lady, which I come to know as a trainer in MI since year 2006. Wow. Okay, and very bubbly, full of energy. So I guess you probably will feel some of her energy later on. Okay, all right. So of course, like what we said, MIS, we actually have our lunchtime webinar giveaway also. Now remember, yesterday I was talking about this book, the Marketing 4.0. So we are giving away 3 of such books. Okay, authored by Philip Kotler, Hermawan Kartajaya, and of course one of our lunchtime webinar speakers this week, Mr. Iwan Setawan. Okay, so if you want to get hold of this book itself, log on to our Facebook and tell us, hey, you want a copy of this? Okay, so this is our Facebook page. We are going live via Facebook and via YouTube. Okay, so just in case if you have missed out on any of the sessions on the past few weeks, in fact, today is our 16th or the past 15 sessions, you can always get back to our YouTube and watch them over our YouTube, or go on to our Facebook and watch them on Facebook itself. Okay, so like what we said, we are a not-for-profit organization, and our mission is actually creating and connecting marketeers. So do help us to actually promote our mission over your Facebook page. Okay, sales. Our topic for sales today, I think, is interesting. You know, basically, sales is important. In fact, if anything at all, I think the most important department in the whole setup of the company itself is there where they bring in revenue. Okay, so I think it's good during this time, especially like COVID-19, that how it actually impact the sales right now. A lot of companies are going limbo, all right, because the sales or the traditional way of doing sales is no longer what you call it, practical right now. You're unable to get out there, physically meet up with your clients and things like that. So I believe during this period of time, I think it's where most important, where everyone are talking about, hey, revenue, you know. So loss of sales and things like that. I think let's hope that we can pick up something or two today. All right. Right. So as you can see on the screen itself, go on to your Facebook, like us on Facebook. Okay. All right. It's not very difficult to do. Just log on to your Facebook right now. Okay. Right. Our executive suite of program. I think I've been talking about this over the past 15 days. So do look out for our executive program where Cecilia Sim is actually one of our top trainers. In fact, she was awarded as our top trainer in the Marketing Institute of Singapore. That speaks volume, okay? Especially, I think MIS have been voted for the past 5 years as being the #1 winner, if you can see on the slide itself, of the by the HRM community, the #1 corporate training provider in Singapore itself. So that speaks volume, okay? And Cecilia being our top trainer, you can expect a lot of value from her course, okay? Next. So we have courses stretches across 9 disciplines, more than 120. I'm almost certain that you can find a couple of courses that it's available to you. So do lock in into our MIS executive training program and look out for what are the courses that you think will be able to help you, to increase your skill set, especially during this uh, lockdown period. Like what I said, rather than spending time at home watching TVs, drama series, Korean dramas, or whatsoever, why don't you use this time to actually pick up a skills or two online? All right, and there are a lot of online courses, but if you're to really look into MIS courses itself, you realize that hey, we have been running all these courses for the past 20, 30 years coming. In fact, and our trainers are very experienced in terms of delivering their content. Cecilia is actually one of those trainers itself. So I think you should pick up, make yourself useful during this period of time so that post-COVID-19, you'll be able to put those skills to use, okay? So we have our, across 9 disciplines, I think it's flashing across in your slides right now. So do look at all of this course, as in sales, events management, leadership, marketing, business management, communication, service excellence, human capital management, and personal effectiveness, okay? Right. And of course, our diploma courses have been talking about that over the past many days. If I were you, I'll try to pick up some digital training, digital marketing training. So that's where we have our advanced diploma in digital marketing, which I think takes about 6 to 8 months to complete the course. And by completing this course itself, you can be certified as a qualified or certified digital marketer. All right. So there are a lot of digital marketers out there that tells you, hey, I can do digital marketing, but what qualifies you? So this is where you are able to get a proper academic qualifications to call yourself a digital marketer. Okay. So this time of at this age of of business, I think without digital marketing skills will put you at a great disadvantage. So please log on to our website on our MIS Business School and find out how you can actually join us in our advanced diploma in digital marketing. Okay, so and of course our diploma in sales and marketing and our diploma of business. I've been talking about that. So if you want to find out more, do log on to our YouTube or our Facebook. Okay. Join us as a member. Especially this time, we are giving free membership in support for our Stay Home SG. Okay. So we are giving away our associate membership right now. Right. Reason being because we want you to actually enjoy the benefit of our courses, especially when you stay at home. And I think a lot of companies are tightening up on their budget. So that's where we want, as MIS itself, as a not-for-profit body, we want to share your burden. All right. We want to offer you, if you're to join us as a member itself, as an associate member, you're able to enjoy up to 20% or some courses even up to 30% of our courses that are conducted online right now. So look out on how you can join us as an associate member. Now, for those that are from overseas, you can also join us as an international associate members itself. So you can sign up our forms online and submit them. And then, especially this period of time, we are giving it free. So please make use of this opportunity and join our membership, okay? And I cannot think about any other reasons why you can join us, especially we're giving free. Now, for those members, our ordinary members and our associate members that has been with us for the past 1 year or 2 years, we are extending your membership. If it expires within these few months itself, in fact, right up to June, if it expires before June, no worries about that. We're extending it for 2 months for you, okay? So this is actually to help you to tie over this period of time. I know everyone tightening budget, and then especially when you don't have that, I think you need to spend your income somewhere else, perhaps. This is where we are doing our bit as a not-for-profit organization. Okay, right. Mass donation, I've been talking about that also. So if you can join us in our mass donation, and click on to scan the QR code over there, okay, and see how you can actually help us in terms of mass donation in this region. Okay, all right. So I think. Yeah, MIS go virtual, so stay in Zoom. Like what we said, every day, other than public holidays and Saturday and Sundays, we'll be keeping you a company. during this lockdown period, right down to the end of this month, in fact. All right. So hopefully by then, all of us can get out of our house. Now, of course, today we will have we're having like what I said, our top trainer, Miss Cecilia Sim. She'll be touching on I think something very relating to our situation right now, as proactively getting into the selling action. Now, as some of you probably know by now that I actually own my own company in events management and that talent management company, and including digital agencies. Okay, so which we are doing a lot of apps, and then including some of web design. Now, during this period of time is where sales is coming in slow, yes, but however, things should not stop. Okay, so in fact, the pressure is really on the sales team right now to try to reach out to our client, maintain the relationship, and how to do it over platforms like Zoom and things like that. All right, so we should not stop. In fact, we should continue and do look out for opportunities. In crisis, in all crises, there are always opportunity that presents themselves. So how to be able to identify those opportunity will be in fact, it's the job of everyone within the company and not just the management staff. Now, of course, and today, well, Cecilia actually has conducted many sales seminar and customized in-house sales program over the decades. Okay, she has broad experience in facilitating sales training for various industries, including local, regional, and international presence. Okay, the sales force who attended her sales training ranges from salespeople to the C-suite, the vice president of sales Asia Pacific, and she has spent more than 25 years of experience spanning across MNCs, SMEs, and startups. Okay, and Cecilia held numerous roles as trainer, facilitator, pre-sales consultants, assistant director, and general managers to some of the establishment, local and overseas. Okay, all right, and she also holds a MBA from the University of Adelaide, Australia, and Bachelor of Business Admin with honors in Management Information System from Northeastern University, Boston, USA. She's also ECTAL certified, and she's a certified KPI professional by the KPI Institute, and currently running her own boutique training and consulting firm. Okay, and her firm is Soft Skills Net. All right, so she's also a very successful entrepreneur. Okay, so without further ado, I think today we're here to listen to Miss Cecilia Sim. Please help me to give a round of applause to invite Cecilia Sim into the room. Hi, Cecilia.
Hi.
Hi, it's great to see you, Cecilia. I always love to see you and feel your energy, and always very, very excited to be able to pick up something from you itself. And Cecilia, it's among our trainers, I think the very few that can speak Mandarin Chinese. All right, and today we do have some, Chinese from China itself, I think, which will be attending our sessions. So Cecilia, thanks for wanting to actually share your sessions with us. I think especially during this time, right? I think you do agree with me. It's tough. We're going through a very tough time right now, and I think the revenue in stream to company is utmost important. It's not just about planning; it's about getting out there, getting into action proactively, like what you'll be sharing with us. On how we should really present ourselves out there, pushing the boundaries in terms of sales. So thanks for wanting to share with us, and let's take on your presentation with us. Thank you, Cecilia.
Thank you so much, Roger, for the detailed introduction about me. And thank you to all of you come to this lunch talk, and we'll spend the next 45 minutes with me. I'm happy to see you drop by, and I hope that these sessions will be very meaningful. After all, you are taking off your lunch to be with me. And so this is a good start of looking into selling actions. As you can see, the title itself is called Proactively Getting into the Selling Actions. And so then the onus is actually on your shoulder that if you are the salesperson and you wanted to do well in your sales, then I think you have to go out there, be it whether you are sitting at home or you're outside in the field after the COVID-19, you have to put on all your time and effort to continue engage with your existing customers if you do have a key account. If not, then you'll be out there prospecting for new sales opportunity. Okay, so I think this will bring us to today's topic. So this is what we're going to talk about, how to do well in sales, how to get into these selling actions. I think the important thing which all of us, whether you're in sales or not in sales, is to start with cultivating yourself with this positive sales mindsets. So if you're not in sales, then you're cultivating positive mindsets for every function or role that you play in your organization. But if you're in the sales, then you have to focus very much on this winning sales mindsets, that you want to win the sales, you want to do it well. And the next thing, of course, if you want to be in this positive sales mindsets, you have to, of course, do a lot of selling activity that make you even better as you go along in your sales journey, together with your prospect or with your key account. So developing the selling process, using the relevant selling process is important. And then the next thing is, do I have all the selling skill that can equip me, that can support me in my sales journey, as well as, keeping my customers and my prospect believe in me, and so they have trust in me, and so that the advice that come from me in terms of the value propositions will be very meaningful to them. And of course, with the positive sales mindset, together with the selling process and the selling skills that you evolve and upgrade over the year, and getting into the selling actions to continue engaging with the customers, will be the 3 best practices that we're going to cover today. So looking at the next slide, this is something that probably you know about. It's called the 80-20 rules of sales. Now, if you have been in the sales for long enough, or if you just start embarking in this sales journey, the new sales rep in the sales organization, and pay attention to this, observe this 80-20 rules of sales. So it's proven, the survey and the research has actually shows that, plus my own personal experience, I have also observed that 80% of this sales revenue come from 20% of the sales force. So you can just imagine, if you have a sales department and you have 10 persons in the sales department, and you are pursuing this $1 million sales, and the 20% of the sales force, out of these 10, 2, isn't it? So you have actually 2 top sales achiever that actually bring in 80% of the sales revenue. So this is an important rule of sales that you want to observe, or you even wanted to pursue for yourself. So the question is, what am I pursuing? So do you want to be one of the top sales achiever? That means you are one of the top 20%. So the answer is, if you're with me now, and if you're a salesperson doing sales now, or you're just starting the sales journey, then you perhaps want to have this mindset of, yeah, I'm looking towards to be the top 20%, the goal that I want to achieve. Now, of course, I'm not going to say that sales is an easy job. If this is your first career and first job, and you have not achieved the sales target yet, but the mindset is very important. The mindset of you wanted to do it will actually carry you out all the way. And so every small step that you achieve, it will increase your step. It will increase your step so that you are closest to your the sales target, and as well as the goal that you have being a salesperson. So this is a very important yes. Do you want to be one of the top sales achiever? Then of course the next question is, do you think you can make it happen? So just now I mentioned that, it's not so easy that you say, I want to do it, I can do it. You put your mindset into the target that you want to achieve, the goal that you want to pursue, but do you equip yourself with all the sales best practices, the sales tool that needed to support your sales function? So if your question again is a very affirmative yes, I think you have scored well enough to say that now I have this strong desire to be the top sales achiever, one of them. Okay, so if you move on with that strong sales mindset, then you are getting yourself into the first pillar of what the sales success, and that is your positive sales mindsets. So I always believe in it. If you think you can, right? Or if you think you can't, you are right either way. So at this moment, I want you to be focused and tell yourself that I can do it. There are many workshops that I have conducted. There are participants who come to my workshop, and some of them who are really just starting the sales career. And some of them will after 2-3 weeks after that, if those who are in contact with me, they can either call me and say that, well, Cecilia, I tried out and yeah, I didn't do very well, but I want to continue, practicing the skill sets that I picked it up on from the workshop, and I am moving towards the direction to get the sales result that I want. And of course, it's a professional development as well as a personal development. Now, then of course, I have a new batch who comes in and who have done it, and within 2-3 weeks in the sales career, they decided to quit. And simply because if the mindset is after a couple of or many rejections that they have faced, then they decided that this is not for me. I'm not cut off to be a salesperson. It's very hard to get this positive sales mindset when every day you talk to your prospect or you engage with your key customers, and your prospects are not responding in a positive manner, and your key account or your customers are looking out for your competitors to work with. So that's kind of rejection and challenges that you face will actually demoralize you and get you frustrated. So constantly to be able to be in the positive sales mindset is actually not an easy momentum to keep up with. So your mindset has to be positive in that sense, to say that today I didn't make it happen. It doesn't mean that it will not happen tomorrow. If your mindset is I'm not doing well today with this prospect, there might be a lot of other reasons that could actually contribute to it. Here we are not talking about the blaming game, blame that, okay, it's internal issue as a customer's issue, but here we're reflecting to see what are the reasons that could actually causes the prospect's rejection on us. And every rejection is actually a good sharing if you can get hold with the prospect and the customers to understand why is it the deal is called off. So this is what I meant by positive sales mindset. When there is a failed deal that you cannot close, it's a reflection in terms of what actually happened. And then from there, you can actually analyzing yourself and say that, have I done something that is not quite right? Could it be because of my selling skills, or could it be because of my sales process? I just got it wrong in terms of the sales activity that I have, I have engaged my customers, that actually turned off my customers, or that actually, make my new prospect very uncomfortable. So every day, you are speaking with new prospect, and you are engaging with your key account in order to, to find out more sales opportunity. And of course, the intention is to help your prospect and your customers to get the result that they are looking for. And the mindset is you're helping them. You are the trusted advisors providing solution to these customers. So you're actually doing something good. So even when the rejection comes in, there's always a quiet time for you to reflect and to analyze the whole situation, and telling yourself that not every sales go through, but then we want to make sure that as many sales opportunity out there for you, the percentage of closing the sale is going to be better and better. So there's a positive sales mindset. I believe I can do it. So if you think you can, then of course it will happen. So positive mindset is the cornerstone that makes things happen in your sales journey. So for a start, I'd like you to read this statement. This is actually one of my favorite statements. And you can run through in your mind. And I would like you to share your thoughts and the interpretation of this statement in terms of the role that the star persons are playing on the check box. So if you click on the check function, you can actually list down your definition of what is it means by seeker, investor, collaborator, and implementer. So here I'm actually stating that star salespeople, they are seeker, investor, collaborator, and implementer. And definitely they have to wear this positive mindset, the hats, and towards making the sales happen. So can you think of within a second, maybe 20 seconds? So what's your interpretation of seeker? So let's move on to the next slide. Your understanding of this keyword, seeker, investor, collaborator, and implementer. Take a moment to write your answers in the chat box. Okay, so can you find the chat? And then write it down. Give you a few seconds. Okay, write whatever your interpretation. This is a very safe environment for us to be discussing on how do you feel about the star salesperson, and why is it this star salesperson are able to do so well to become the top 20%, of the sales force and that number is actually quite motivating if you see yourself can actually move up to become the top 20%. Okay. I saw the sharing on the seeker. What about your interpretation as star salesperson, as investor, implementer, and collaborator? A quick one, interpretation. Anyone? Okay. If you are here with me, just write what you think, what you have in your mind. So we have Galaxy Tab. Talk about seeker was what? We as a starter, we seek and we get to know about a new product or services. Okay, seeker looking for good opportunity. Seeker find clients. Investors spend time training and making relationship. Seeker continue to search for the right person. Okay, makes sense. Okay, let's look at two new message. I'm sure while I'm reading, you're also reading the chat, right? So look at another one. Seeker is a hunter. Okay, investor put in resources in anticipations for growth and profit. I really like to see all your faces and like you to raise your hand. How many of you here are the sales person? And that's your sales role, that you're actually doing it. Can raise hand or not? Can I see the raise hand? Well, I'm saying this because I think the definition that you have on the chat box really explain the role of the star salesperson. Yep. Majority of the participants that I have with me have the same sharing like yours. So we're talking about seeker, right? And you have the definition. Let's move on to the second question. The second question is, can you associate the three key pillars that I shared with you when I began the session, that I say that there are three key pillars of sales success. You can also consider these are the best practices. So if you're focusing on the seeker, I got a lot of you focusing on seeker, investor, and collaborator. Now I want you to relate these three key pillars. So if you're a prospector, what do sales mindset, selling process, and selling skill have to do with this role? Any idea? If you are the investor, why? Why do I need this sales mindset, selling process, and selling skill again? Okay? Take a moment, write it down again as what you have just actively written on your sharing on the chat board. So if you have written prospector, what are the, why is it this sales mindset, selling process, and selling skill are important? Okay, give you a few seconds, 20 seconds. I think that's a good start. So while you're writing down, I'm actually reading your message. Okay. Okay, you might still thinking about how these three key pillars can associate with the role of the star salesperson. Basing on the checkbox that you have written, let's take one example. Like for example, talk about prospecting. There are different types of salespeople out there. We have insider sales, sales force. We have a field trip sales rep. We have telesales from call center who make the call. So there are many types of sales people being called in different names. Okay, so if you are a telesalesperson, and if your target is to make telesales call, and you need to call new prospect, 30 of them in a day. So you are doing your prospecting, right? Now, in fact, in the survey, you have actually says that 40% of survey participants have feedback that prospecting is the hardest part of the sales process. So if you're fortunate enough, probably you don't have to do prospecting so much. You'll be an insider salesperson where you actually pick up a call from your customer who already identified what kind of solution that they like you to offer to them. And so they can start away, engaging you. So it's easier to, to open the sales call. But if you're a tele-salesperson and you are doing prospecting, you need certain mindsets and specific prospecting technique in order to engage your salesperson. So I have seen this is in personal experience that I did prospecting before, and also in my workshop I have participants who has to do a lot of prospecting. And what happened is, since prospecting is the hardest part of to get the relationship going on for you and the new prospect, and within the 20 calls per day that you make, you may have 4 if you're unlucky enough, in terms of you caught the prospect not in the right time, or the prospect felt that you are intruding them while they're doing something very important, or simply because they just don't like your voice. It can be they don't like your voice. Like I once did when somebody called me, I'm not interested in, I'll just hang up the call. Of course, there are reasons for that. So because of that, the rejection can be very high. And if you start thinking that, oh, I'm not able to do prospecting well enough, and I think telesales is not for me. Every time when I open up the call, I feel so disappointed. I'm so frustrated about myself, and this is not what I want to go through day after day. And so then you have this negative emotion comes into your mind, and with this negative emotion, of course, it's going to impact in terms of your selling behavior. And it will be worse if you are calling the first 10 and the first 10 prospect already rejected you, and then you continue to the 11 prospect. By then, probably your energy level is lower, and probably even the voice that you have probably sound a bit more tired, a bit more passive, and that you probably even lost the energy to get your prospect to be excited to continue the conversation with you. So that's the sales mindset of, yes, I got the rejection, and I understand that not every sales prospect, not every prospect will actually buy on the first call, because even the survey has indicated that sometimes you need 5, or worse, you need 7, 10, or 12 times to call up this new prospect until they are willing to set up an appointment with you. So today is not a good day. Tomorrow is going to be better. If I cannot close the deal today, so when I say closing the call, it's either you set an appointment with your prospect or your key account or your key customers, or if it's an existing customers, it means they are going to give you their time, willing to see you again for you to present your new solution to them, or solution with new features to them. And so that is the mindset that you have to feel comfortable with, that it is normal to have rejections. Every rejections will make me grow to be more resilient, because you keep practicing by reflecting what you have done right and what you have done wrong. And then you start looking at your selling process. You start looking at your selling skills, and then you'll be able to find out and identify, the strengths and weaknesses that you have, and then you continue moving on forward to apply, the right selling process, the right selling skills in any sales situation. You just have to make sure that the selling process and selling skills are relevant. So this is where just one example of how these 3 key pillars can really help you to shine in your role as a seeker, as an investor, implementer, and collaborator. So being a seeker is not good enough, because a salesperson actually wear multiple hats. So you seek, you find prospect. Like some of you actually put on the chatbot, it says that, yeah, I'm an investor. I actually have to put a lot of times to work with the customers. Some of you actually says that, oh, you need a lot of money, right? Investor. So I want to say here that your investor is the time that you spend in engaging with your customer, finding exactly what do they need and what kind of solution that they are looking out for, in order to help them to bring in the result that they expected for their own business outcome. And so you need a time, right, to spend time to engage them, to understand them better by asking a lot of questions, do a lot of active listening, to know what are their concerns, what are the risks that they have in mind if they're going to buy your solution. And you have to be very convincing enough that your solution is the right solution for them. And so then that is the investing part, the time and effort on the customers. But the investor is also referring to yourself, your personally, how much time and effort you invest in yourself. So for example, right now you are listening to me, you actually take 1 hour of your lunchtime to be here. Now this time you could have actually used it for something else. Like for example, if you're supposed to make a call, this 1 hour you can actually make many calls, right, as a telesalesperson. Or you could actually talk to an existing client and engage in building up more rapport with the person and to deepen the relationship with the person. But here you are to this talk because you wanted to find out more. How can I proactively getting into the selling action? So this is a time I need to invest on myself. So you invest on yourself to continuously, learning new skill sets, new technology, new strategy. And if you're in a face-to-face workshop with the rest of the sales sales professional around, there'll be a lot of sharing of keeping you up, with the trends of the industry. And what are different types of selling approach and selling skills that are out there in the market that are more relevant in terms of the new trends of the customers that we are facing. And also, of course, we're talking about the different generation of customers, different types of customers. So that's the time that you invest in yourself, not only just that you invest in your customers. Okay, so we have talked about that too, investor and this seeker. These are all spending time. So you say, yes, money, yes, you do need money, yeah, in order to, package the solution up, to get all the resources up to support yourself in your sales function. These are what you spend money. Now, but when you're implementing it, it means you are closing the deal. It's the beginning of a new relationship with your customers. And also to ensure that whatever solution that you have offered to your prospect, they are actually implemented well. The system or the solution that you offer has delivered whatever promises that you have mentioned to your prospect and to your existing customers. And those value propositions of the product that you have, what I meant is the advantages of the product. These advantages and the benefit that given to your customers, in fact, has helped them to achieve their own business outcome. I think that is very important because all star salesperson need to be customer centric. So you need to ensure that the implementing goes well, the relationship goes well, and so you will have a recurring customers and they become your key customers. Okay, so once you do that, all the sales mindset, selling process, and selling skill, still, supporting it. And when you are you're a collaborator within your internal organization. Internally, you have your marketing tier that you have to work with. You have your customer service staff that you have worked with. It's a group of function within your organization supporting this role function. And with the customers, if you're working with largest MNC and they have a purchasing department, and within the purchasing department, they might have the end user, technical people, as well as the finance, on top of the line manager who are buying into your solution. They all will come together and you will have to collaborate with them. So you're right to say that collaboration is, you make sure that everyone, internal department in your organization, as well as the partners that you're going to work with. So your customers now become your partners, because if it's a larger company that buy from you, then you have to walk through with them when you implementing the solution. And so the relationship with them will go deeper. You will hear their concern. You will respond to their concern. And so this is how, the three key pillars are very important to ensure that the sales not only close well, but it also deepen the relationship between you and the customers. Okay, so this is this set actually the pace for all what we're going to discuss later, if you can relate to this example. And so then you can see the importance of these three key pillars. So moving here, positive mindset, right? Very easy, talk about positive mindset. It's so difficult just to shift a negative or not so negative mindset to positive mindset. We just have to start somewhere. And I would like to say that, the responsibility again is into us as a salesperson. You want to make sales happen, then you have to change the way you think. The impossible to possible. Okay, and so you put on these hats of positive mindset, believe that you can actually do it. So that brings us to the developing a winning mindset. Salesperson, high achiever, always wanted to win. Okay, when you out there for your sales talk with your prospect or with your key customers, the first thing that comes to mind is, I'm going to make it good today. Okay, whether you close or not close, that positive mindset at the start is very important, because it will set the tone of your selling approach, as well as the words that you say, and when you bring in your value propositions to your customers. So develop a winning mindset. So how do you help yourself to develop that, so that you are one step closer to close the sales? So like I said, if it's a B2B transactions, you perhaps cannot close the deal right away. If we're talking about thousands of products, $1 million of product. Even today, talking about membership, a few $100s of membership, if you're not setting your value proposition at the right context that are meaningful to your buyer or to your new prospect, you will not close the sale either. And if the selling skills are not good enough, it's going to be a roadblock towards closing the deal. So the winning mindset is, I wanted to close the deal, definitely. If I cannot close the deal today, at least I can set up an appointment to meet up. If I still cannot set up an appointment to meet up with my client, I need to follow up very closely. If you have written your email, you don't wait for too long until you are forgotten, and then start checking with your customers. So that's follow up in order to win is very important. So what you do? So to put you on the track of this winning mindset, you need to start somewhere, right? So there's a sense of direction. So number one, set SMART goal to achieve results. Okay, right on the chatbot, any one of you can give me a SMART sales goal. So now you're thinking you're going to be the top sales achiever, right? You wanted to do well. So what do you have in mind? So if right now you're in your Q2, now we have Q3 and Q4. If we haven't got our milestone and sales target been hit for Q1 and Q2, what should I do now? You may need to revise your goal, and what effective goal that I need, so that it give me a sense of purpose, it give me focus, it motivate me that I will have this direction to follow. And those of you, some of you probably have heard about SMART goal. It's really referring to setting your goal and ensure that the goal is specific and the goal is measurable, and the goal has to be achievable, It has to be relevant and as well as within a timeline. So given this sharing with you, I'll give you a second for you to write down the SMART goals that are relevant to your contact. So again, a few seconds if you can. So I'll read out, the sales goal that you have on the chat board. Okay. Great. We have Jennifer who actually know the answer. Simple, manageable, achievable, realistic, and tangible. So Jennifer, what do you think will be the SMART goal that you have in mind? So we also have Sam that written down having more experience, learn from past experience. True. So is it difficult to set goal? I haven't seen any goals on the chat board. So I have one new message. Wow. Jennifer, that's good. Huh? Losing 0 customers. Okay, definitely. So we're talking about customers retention. You set goal that, 100% of your customers are actually retained. Well, that's very good, 100%. When I run my membership organization, the types of membership fee that I offer was 10,000 and 50,000. So if I speak with any potential, my prospect, I either recruit them as a normal, what we call it, ordinary members for 10,000, and another will be foundation member that is 50K. Now, if I have this 10K customers who actually have to renew their membership year after year, and I can retain them with 0, losing them, wow, that will be great, because it's very motivating, even when you want to retain your customers, and so that you can move on to have new customers, and so the customer base will get larger and larger. Yeah, so that is a very tall goal. But again, is within your industry and within your context that you may actually be able to achieve this 99% of this customer retention. Now, a lot of SMART goal in the sales, all the salespeople that I come across, be a sales leader or the sales rep. The sales rep usually will get their SMART goal identified by the sales manager. The sales manager and sales leader could have the kick-off meeting on last year, December, to highlight what are the types of goal that they want to achieve in their sales function. And then they will distribute, the goal to the team of sales rep in terms of what the goal, that individual goal or team goal need to be achieved. So obviously, very commonly, we look at this 5-figure income. I have seen company who has set the mark very high. This is all through experience, either through my own personal as well as the partners that I work with. I've seen a partner organization that set 1 million sales for the salespeople to achieve. This is SME, and the sales staff managed to do it. And on the second year, the $1 million become $3 million. And then we move on to the third year, it actually becomes $6 million for a year. Okay, and the reasons that this sales target has been achieved is because the bars have raised so high. Now again, it depends. It really depends on whether the bar is raised so high, depends on what product you are selling, which industry that you are selling to, and who are your customers. So the group actually managed to do it. And from 1 million, and when they hit their 3 million, you can see these sales staff are all full of sense of achievement and joy at the year end when they have this year-end dinner gathering. And then of course the top the management see that it can happen, so then they raise the bar again to higher level. So it's good to set goal that is achievable, and also being able to bring out the potential of your sales force, because you have this positive sales mindset that they actually can do that. Even if they think that they cannot change the mindset, like I said, individually they change their mindset, the team leader as a mentor or as a coach can also shift the mindset. And of course, changing mindset is not overnight. Your relationship with your team and the time that you invested in your team and get it going is also one of the contributing factors to so that everybody has the goal to follow through. Okay, so setting SMART goal. So you're right to say that sales revenue. Okay, many participants will talk about sales revenue. I want to make 6 million. Or you're talking about the volume, sales unit that you're selling. So what is your target? What is the closing rate? You know, we call it as win rate. You know, 10%, 20%. What is the percentage that you can actually convert your lead into consumer or customers? Okay, so this you actually have to set it, and so it got to be measured, because if you can't measure, then you will not know whether the performance is there or not. So we move on to the second tips, right? Now, once you set a goal, setting goal and not taking action, nothing will happen. Nothing will change if you don't do anything. And also the mindsets of, I'm hired as a salesperson. That's my responsibility. That's the job that I need to do, right? Right from initiating a contact with my customers, all the way from engaging them till you close the sale. And that is your responsibility to do it, to ensure that that engagement is there. When a customer needs you to share more information, wow, you really have to be very patient. Not all customers will be on the same page as you. Not all of them will see the benefit and advantage that you present to them. So they need to be persuaded, they need to be convinced, and they have to be able to see the value. So then you have to be, committed towards your, what you want to achieve. So responsibility cannot take away. Accountability is there. So when you have this sense of accountability, then you will start finding ways to do it. And so when you start finding way, your sense of commitments will actually goes up. So with that, it brings you to cultivate the discipline into your selling activity. All this selling activity that you're doing now will become your selling action, right? So, okay, today what I must do in terms of my sales activity. Am I supposed to engage these customers? How many of them that I have to engage today? How many of them that I have to follow up, who are very urgent, that these customers, if you do not follow up very closely, they're going to be pretty upset, and they will think that you're not serious about them. And so then the follow up is important. So if you look at the sales activity, which is all embedded in the sales process, and the discipline is on you. If you lose your discipline, then you'll be distracted. And when you are distracted, you might end up doing something that is not relevant towards achieving your goal. So cultivating discipline is very important. And the next thing, of course, continuously adopt, adapt, and apply relevant selling skill and action to any situation. You see, I put the notes at the bottom of the slide that if you keep doing things the exact way, then you'll be getting the exact results. Yeah, decade ago, yeah, you are practicing this selling approach. You're using, the same selling skill. But today, your customers have changed in terms of their buying behavior. The customers' expectations are no longer the same as before. The customers now, especially for B2B, survey have actually shown that 44% of them, around that figure, actually research a lot of content on the internet. They might go into your website, they might read your solution, they may actually know your solution better than you if they keep up with your website, and they can question you in terms of what you offer. And so it is very important that you have to be able to go along with their buying behavior. And so you need to adopt, to be in alignment with the buyer's buying behavior right now. And also, what are they buying for themselves? You need to know that. So if you look at the next slide, then you realize that over here, I have put on important part of the emotion and the energy that can actually drain you out of all this sales activity, right? Because if you look at what I have shared with you so far, it's like so much thing to do, right? Sales is not an easy job. It's just like any function. There's a lot of sweats on it, but there's also a lot of sense of accomplishment and also rejections that can actually bring you down. So you have to prepare mentally and physically to manage tough time. So when I say mentally, as do not let the challenges, the negative challenge, the negative behavior to bring you down, to get you depressed till you disbelieve in your ability and your potential, and you start feeling that, I can't do it. I just cannot do it. I quit. Always go out and go for courses, learn about selling, talk to your senior sales force or sales manager, get them to be your mentor, to be your coach. They probably will share with you. They also have their up and downs and the rejections that they have, and so you're not the only one, right? So be positive. Whatever challenges and rejection that you have from your customers, it's quite natural human behavior. If the buyers are not ready to buy your product, they're going to tell you, buzz off, don't come and disturb me. I have other better things to do than listen to your sales pitch. Or you can have them to tell you that, give you all the excuses. I have no time to talk to you. I have no budget. And then you, in your mind, you think, hey, this company is impossible, right? This company is their cash flow is very strong. You've done your research, and you know that they're doing well and they are going in the expansion, and you feel like your solution will be the right solution, contributing to what their expansion plan. But yet they rejected you. So despite all your effort, you have done your research, that you think that you can actually do a good job by sharing the value proposition, and you believe it's compelling, everything done right. But on the sales meeting itself, it flops. It fell through. And so you come back. It is the first time you fell through. I think, okay, you say, all right, I can take it. But as you go on, if you have continuously having the same rejection that happened, then you will start doubting your ability. So the mentally is, remember, it's normal that not every buyer will sell. Well, not every buyer will buy from you. That's what I'm trying to say. You qualify the buyer. If you qualify them right, they are the right buyer, but they're still not buying, you have to find out exactly why is it they're not buying. And then you tell yourself that you practice, in fact, it was the real cases that you practice your selling skill, and you also identified where actually gone wrong in your selling skill. Have you been too aggressive? Or have you been too soft and you sound unbelievable? So there could be a lot of things that happen, but mentally you have to build up this resilience. So then you believe that you can do a better job. Yeah, as you practice and you have do it more and more, it become habits, and you build that resilience, and you also build the positive emotion as you go along. So it's normal. Physically, definitely is the energy. Yeah. Whenever you talk to someone, you want to make sure that you can present yourself well enough. Speak to someone also need a lot of energy. It's like as if like right now I'm speaking over this virtual platform. I'm trying to exert my voice so that you can hear me better. So to exert that loudness, I probably have to like put my postures in the right, more or less like a standing posture. Then I can project my voice better. So there's also physical, physical in terms of getting your energy up. So that's the physical part. Okay, so you got the strong, positive, winning mindset. So what's next? So that will bring us to the second pillar into sales success. So my question to you right now is, do you have a sales process in place? Do you use sales process or not? Any one of you? Can you tell me the number of steps that are actually in your sales process? So again, I would like you to write your answer on the chat box. And give you enough 20 seconds to put down your answer. So I can't see you. So in the workshop itself, I probably will call up, hey, Li Mei, Jennifer, Roger, Judy, and Huang Yongbing, 对吗? Danny, and what do you think? If you're doing sales, how many steps in the sales process is needed so that you will be more confident and equip yourself with all the skill sets so that you can engage well with your prospect or your existing customers? No clue? Any clue? Wow, Li Mei, you have 5 steps. So Li Mei, are you into sales? Yes? Okay, so what are you selling? What kind of solution? Oh, you're doing research. And what about you, Jennifer? You are in B2B? Okay, by the way, I mentioned earlier we have B2B sales and B2C sales. Where are you now? Research qualifying. Okay, so definitely I have a seasoned salesperson here, right? So you guys, are you happy with your sales result? This is your Q2. This is also the question that I asked myself. Not satisfied yet? Okay. So COVID-19 have an impact on us, right? So now what are we going to do to find opportunity? Better opportunity, we got to buckle up and then in order to achieve the sales target that we put down. Sales champions, that sounds very interesting. Prospecting pre-approach. I would like you guys look at those being written on the chat box because in my workshop, I usually have everything openly shared and we have a lot of gaps identifying, walking through the sales process, ensure everybody is on the right page, on the same page. Then we can go into the role playing, and the role playing will actually go into demonstrating that the important skill needed in order to be a good salesperson. Okay, so I can see that there are 4 stages, 5 stages. Okay, so that's a good participation. So Andy, you are the sales director from Telco. Telco, how do you find your industry now? Well, it's essential, It's still it's still upcoming in the trend. Anything that is essential can sell better than non-essential. Yes, yes. So Andy, how long you have been in the business? Because you say positive mindset. How many years? I've been trying to, put that positive mindset with me every day. Okay, so good. We have a good sharing here. And just bear in mind, the sales process that I'm going to share with you is not a standard model for all. But if you are new in sales, you're just starting into the sales career, right? Then I think you will need a model to begin with. And the reason of having this sales process is to ensure that you prepare yourself well enough. Okay, so let me share with you the sales process. So just now the question is, how many number of steps do you need to go through? So some of you put, wow, 13, 44, 25 assessment. Wow, is that a 4-digit number for me to buy lottery? 1, 3, 4, 4. Okay, so let's look at how many number of steps. Okay, I put up 6 steps, but I just wanted to share, like I said, the sales process that you're going to use very much depend on the industry that you're in, and also whether you're B2B buyer and seller situation or you're B2C. Okay, and it also depends on your buyer's buying process. You want to develop your sales process that is aligned with your buyer. So then your sales cycle will be a lot faster. That means you close, your sales cycle length will be shorter. Okay, over here I give you a 6-step. If you're new in sales, just bear in mind that not every generation, I refer to generation of customers, from baby boomer to the Gen Z, right? And so their buying behavior are not the same. The buying trend are not the same. So you have a basic model of this sales process, but you adopt new one if you need to. So remember just now I say that top salesperson, they continuously adopt and adapt, new sales strategy, new sales processes. You're going to make sure that they are, thank you for sharing that FMCG have 9 steps, yeah? Okay, so it's important that you adopt and you can adapt and you apply it in the right sales contact. And that must be something that your buyer are comfortable. It's not just you and cannot be too structured. Okay, so look at the first step is plan and preparation. Now there are many sales activity into the planning which I will not go on it, but during the workshop, I actually walk the participant through their planning, through all their steps to get all their sales activity up. And so then they plan for their role play later on in the workshop itself. And so then they can demonstrate, have they actually prepared them well enough to anticipate any objection that can come from their buyer, and are they able to implement their new learning or practice the skill set that they are weak, the one that they are good. I think that's their strength. They will continue using it. the one that they found out is incompetent, they will want to use this workshop as a safe environment for them to practice. But over here, because we only have 45 minutes, right? So I'm going to just briefly explain that. So that's the planning and preparation, right? Planning important because you plan a lot of things. So just a few example. For example, you plan which industry that you want to target. Who are your customers? Who are the relevant customers? You might even go to the extent of develop the customer's persona. So then you know exactly their trend, their behavior, their expectation, their challenges, what they are facing. And so which part of your value proposition is the plus point, is an important and compelling part which will trigger their interest so that they are willing to be with you in the sales meeting to listen to your value proposition. So that's solely on planning on the customer side. But you also plan, for example, what kind of objection that can actually come from the customers. So then you will have a list objection with you, and you can have a set of answers with you. Now the answers can be from your own experience where you have encountered with your other prospect in a similar industry, and you know for sure that these are some of the things that the customers may question you, and what they wanted to know is how well your products can fit into their their agenda and the reason of buying. So that's on the planning part. A lot of planning and preparation. And on the second part is, if those of you need to do prospecting then you know that there's a lot of work that go into prospecting. So what are the sales activity involved? So from researching to get the right customers and to get the relevant leads for you to follow up and to qualifying them. Again, so lots of sales activity to be done. The third step is engaging in the sales conversation. So when you engage in the conversation, you're not going to do just a presentation. We used to use the term sales presentation, but today's our trend of customers is they prefer more a sales dialogue going on. So it's not, the salesperson being the one who, demo the product features and talk about the advantage, and it's like a one-way presentation without engagement. So we're having a sales conversation here. We're in a sales dialogue. So I need to listen to you, right? Because you are the buyer. You know exactly what problem, what challenges that you have. I may read from the research, but hearing from you in person is more relevant, very much, helping me to understand you better in terms of what are the advantages of my solution that can actually help you to achieve your end result. So engage in sales conversation is a two-way, exchange. Then the fourth step, of course, if you convince your prospect and convince your buyer. Now, in a B2B situation, you probably set up a meeting. It may not be just one meeting. Some B2B takes about a year, especially if it's to do with hundreds, thousands of this software system. Like for example, I was a pre-sales consultant, and so in that organization, we sell solution. And the solution is actually an integration of the hardware and software and proposed to the buyer. And certain software have to go through quotation, go through tender, write up the proposal in the form of report. It's called RFP, and then you send it to your buyer. You meet up with them. There are many rounds of meeting and sales presentation to get it on. So to build the rapport, to have the relationship, to convince the value propositions are good. And if it's okay, then your proposal was sent out inclusive of all the terms and conditions of the sales. But along the way, before the proposal being submitted, you have to handle objection. And normally, what are the objections? So by the way, I just checked with you guys who are in the sales. So what are the objections that will hinder you? And so there's not even a chance for you to write a proposal. Get a few seconds to write. So what's the common? Let's see what is the common objections that we all receive. Expensive, yeah. Your is very expensive. They don't like your face. Roger, this is not funny. I have one sales situation that actually happened, and that's in my early part of my sales career. I was with the startup company. This one is a startup. And my sales, I actually went, personally. And the lady just don't like me, found me too aggressive and too pushy. Here, I wanted to share with all of you, sales, not everyone can do it from day one and bingo, become a superstar, right? There are people who actually go through a lot of hardship, gone through the failure, and take that failure sessions as a learning lessons, and they become stronger because they practice until they become a seasoned, so seasoned that they can handle objection easily, or they just don't get these objections upset their mind, and they can still, stay calm and cool and speak with the customers with lots of patience and sharing. And I have that fair bit in this, in the customers. When I was in my early day, I was told to be aggressive, and so I have to change. That's younger day, right? And you learn from your mistake that, wow, actually people dislike your face, or even it can be because they dislike your voice. They just don't like you. So how? Do you want to give up? So then you have to reflect, come back and reflect and understand that, well, my face, there must be a reason. So I just have to look at the mirror, look at myself, the way I present, the way I talk, the voices, check on my voices to see whether I can have the, the change or improve in my voices so that I will not have the same kind of direct rejection just because of that incident that I have. Okay, so this is one way of being positive, that you will just continue with the objections that impact you. Now, no budget is always a common objection. Your is too expensive. They have no budget, and I always take this this response, no budget, at a positive feedback, because if they are willing to open up and share with you and tell you that they have no budget, and yours is expensive, at least you can open them up again with your questioning to understand where are their bottom line. If it seriously is to do with this budget issue, you can always look at your solution again. If you're talking about, for example, in the system that I sell, there are certain parts of the system that you can actually take it off, and and that will actually help to reduce the cost. Sometimes you can also look at the packaging if you're in a manufacturing company, and then your solution or the items that you sell need packaging. You can also cut down on the fancy packaging and help the customers to reduce the cost. So we are giving value proposition that are aligned with what our customers are looking for, and so then you get this relationship open, and your buyers start talking to you, and you share. The more you share, the more you understand them, and so then your objection will become lesser. Okay, so this is where a lot of cases to share, but this is only just one of the example. So if we look at that, the next one, number 5, is you close the deal. Now, closing the deal also need closing skill, right? And closing the deal means it doesn't mean the end, it's starting off a new relationship. So then we continue and look at following up. So now you have to follow up, and if you can serve your account well enough, then you probably will be like sales champions here, right? I'm happy with my current supplier and I don't want to change. I would love to work with sales champions that, I provided you the value proposition, it matched your requirement, and you continue using my services. And so then sales champion will become my what? Ambassador. You become my loyal customers. You will probably will talk about my solution, and I'm not only just selling one, I could probably end up, selling more. And so as we go on from the sales process, I just want to remind again, this is just a basic model. If you have 13 steps on your sales cycle, or 15 steps on your sales cycle, unless you're in a very unique situation, the longer your sales process, the longer your closing, because it takes a lot of activities to complete in order to convince and to close the deal. So if your goal is to, if you have a sales goal that you actually identified in the beginning, and you say that, within 30 days, I want to close my sale, but your cycle is pretty long that it might exceed 30 days, and it can probably end up 90 days, then you close your sales. Okay, so be flexible, use it as a reference, the process as a reference, adapt to what your industry are looking for, and then we move on to the third pillar. So now you have this strong sales mindset, right? This winning mindset, right? I'm ready for my quarter 3. I'm ready for my quarter 4. I'm full of energy now. I'm motivated, because I set my, I know that quarter 1, quarter 2, it's not the best for me, but I want to make good use of my quarter 3 and my quarter 4. I want to recover the percentage or the sales target that I actually lost in my quarter 1, quarter 3. So the third pillar into sales success is actually effective selling skill. Now, these effective selling skills, it will be demonstrated throughout your sales process, right from your planning stage till you have initial contact with your buyer, till you're actually closing the sales. Okay, so I like it to be interactive. So what are the selling skills that you think a salesperson should have? Or if you want to be a star salesperson, does it make it different? Yeah, the number of effective selling skills that you have. I keep hearing Jennifer say it's thick skin. So thick skin means it's a resilient skills. Okay, perseverance skill, meaning that I don't easily give up. I think that's how we transfer into thick skin, right? People skill is also very important. You need to rapport with new prospect. You need to continue rapport with your customers. You need to be in the circle of your customers. So that's called networking. Like, for example, if you sell to your buyer, and like I said, the buyer come from a big organization, you might even, become the partners of your buyer. You could actually be one of the guests who are attending all the events of your customers. And so then you're always in their circle. So let's look at the skill sets. I see a lot of you are writing with, the selling skill. So let's move on. The essential skill. And these are all the skills that I covered in the workshop, which the participants, every single one of them, be them be a buyer and seller, have to demonstrate these skills while they are practicing their selling. So look at this slide now. These are the facts. The facts of this that I got was like 2014. And I look at all the research following through that, right? And even if you look at the bookshelf that I have, some of the sales textbook or written by the sales guru that I read, and it's still stating this as some of the common habits of sales people that actually end up that the sales is not so forthcoming. The sales result is not what they're looking for because of these facts. So you just read it. 82% of sellers are out of sync with the buyer. So you agree, no? Are you 82% out of sync with the buyer? Wow, if you are always out of sync with the buyer, then this is a killer. This is something that you have to reduce, the habit, or best of all, eliminate the habit. I understand habit is hard to change. So then the mindset is you just have to do it. You still have to get it somewhere. Now, 86% of salespeople ask the wrong question. So are you one of them or not? Have you ever attended a sales meeting and the buyer just look at you, stare into you, and look at you blankly? Perhaps you can even see their facial expression of, how can it be? How can you ask me this question? It could be because you don't know the industry well enough, or it could be because you never prepared yourself enough about them before you talk to them or with them. You do not know what kind of challenges that they are facing, what are the operational issues that they have, and so then the question that you ask may not be the right question. And this one is very, very common. 95% of salespeople talk too much and listen too little. Agree or not? Any one of you fall into this three? Want to share? Do you find yourself, after you have been in sales for too long, there's two ways. It's either you're very new, and so then you have this skill sets that are not so competent, or you're very seasoned until you've forgotten, and so you need to be reinforced and being told that, okay, now probably you want to start listening to your buyer. Sometimes it's good when you have new blood who join the company, someone who have seen you in your sales skill that is no longer relevant, and they give you feedback. We all must be open enough to the newer generation. We share with us and say, hey, you need to do this and do that. Then in the sales function team, then we all can excel. Everyone become high performing, and you will not end up being top 20%. An organization only have the top 20% of sales achiever. You can actually increase the achiever. So I can see the agree, right? Should talk less and fishing more. Yes. I will actually speak less if I see you in person, if we are having a face-to-face meeting. But today is a 45 minutes, so I will tend to speak a lot more. But you also realize I'm trying the effort of getting you to write more and getting you to interact more. And so you can actually see yourself sharing with the others. And all of you, if you're reading the chat board, then you will see that, 95% is a very high percentage. If you talk that much, then your sales meeting is ineffective. I have put my sales reps who attended my workshop to do the actual sales. I will not tell you how it's being conducted, but it's very interesting. There will be some observation and evaluation, peer assessment on each other. And you can actually say that I'm not the person who really talk too much. But when the person says that I'm a good listener, but the person actually is not really that good listener, and it's not only coming from me, but it's coming from the participant who are actually doing the skill building exercise, right? So then you realize that, wow, the person is just enjoying the sales presentation and there's no closing. Okay, see you, Danny. So this is a part that you look at it. We are coming to the final slide, Danny. So this is where, what are the selling skills that are very effective? So looking at that, I think you probably can guess, right? What are the important selling skills? Okay, so this is it. This is what you can see. These are not the exhaustive list. Uh, so based on what we have shared just now, realize that it's important to be able to uh, have the sales call opening to be impactful, so then you can have your new prospect to engage with you, or then you can have your key customers to see that, yeah, you come prepared and that's going to be a meaningful sales meeting. It's important in the sales presentation, you make it sound more like a sales exchange, more like an exchange sessions of understanding each other in terms of needs and challenges and the end result that you're looking for. So you do the two-way communication. And it's also with the open mindset that objection is always an opportunity to understand your customer more, so that you are designing and developing something which is your solution that is more appropriate and relevant to that situation. Then of course the end is, don't forget to close. If you spend hours and hours in presentation, you never asked for order, and then that is a wasted time and effort in a meeting. Okay, so these are all the key selling skill. Of course, there are more to it that you guys have suggested, like networking, people skill. Yeah, it is the skill sets that you can also pick it up from the other workshop if you want to do well. And so that's a lot to do. And hopefully, uh, you can come to my workshop, bring your team. I do run a company in-house program for regional sales force. And as Roger has mentioned, I'm also bilingual. So if you are Mandarin speaker, I can just summarize a key point for you. But if you're Indian, then I will have a problem because I'm not good at that. I've tried, can't even say hello properly. So that's what I can do for you today. If you have any question, I will take it from your chat box and then we can proceed from there. Okay, so I'm going to pass this to Roger for you to take over.
Hi. Okay. Great. Everyone. I think. Wow. I think Cecilia, really appreciate. I think as a salesperson, we always try to give value-added services. So
Mm-hmm.
this is where the I think today, Cecilia, have actually shown us that you're really giving value-added service to us by telling a lot more today. I think you shared quite a few pointers out there, and I seriously think that some of our viewers or our attendees today are able to pick up quite a fair bit from you. And you're right, Cecilia. I think sometimes in sales itself, we are looking at not just about wanting to close the sales, but rather more on a long-term kind of relationship building.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I think the screen, I think it's showing some other things, but nevertheless, uh, let's hang on. Sorry. I think the screen is hang right now, right, you guys? But no worries about that. So, can you please, for the attendees out there, right? So, if you have any questions, please do feel free, and do note that Cecilia is also our trainer, our long-time trainer in MIS itself, and has got a lot of value to offer in the area of sales. So, I would encourage, for business owners, if you do have a sales force out there that needs help, and I think MIS is the great place to come, and to be trained by Cecilia itself, certainly it's a privilege. Okay, and I think I do agree with you. Cecilia, I've been in sales for a long time, uh, and sometimes how to convert your current customers into your evangelists. I think by word of mouth, that is actually the best way to create a good relationship, helping them to resolve their issues through your services. I think these are some of the things that as a seasonal salesperson, perhaps you should really look into it. Right. So, do we have any questions from the floor? Okay. Right. It looks like I think it looks like you've covered quite a lot. Thank you so much, Cecilia.
Okay, no mention.
I
Any
can I
question,
can
just pass it to
yeah.
me. Thank
Yes,
you.
definitely. Yeah, thank you, Cecilia. I think you can tell from Cecilia itself the passion, the energy. And that is what I think a typical salesperson should have. So really, thank you so much, Cecilia. Thanks for the time. And
Okay.
which will bring me to our session tomorrow. Tomorrow, we have another trainer coming on board. All right, that is none other than Mr. P. Subramaniam. Um, now he's a trainer, which I think a newly acquired trainer with MI Marketing Institute of Singapore. Now, Mr. Subramaniam actually comes with years of experience in the area of marketing, okay, and really into brands also. He's actually one of the chief marketing officers from one of the very established company, state-owned, I won't say state-owned, anyway, a company in Singapore itself. And through his experience, I think he has a lot to share. So tomorrow he'll be touching on the topic on building brands with customer experience. So this is another session yet. I think I would advise all of you here to join us tomorrow, okay? And I truly believe that you'll be able to benefit from his webinar sessions tomorrow, same time at 12:30. Okay. Now I know that we have actually went beyond our time today, but nevertheless, really thank you, Cecilia. And then of course, all this are being brought to you by the Marketing Institute of Singapore under our executive development team, where you see all our trainers are coming in to actually share their expertise with you during this period of time, hoping that you're able to pick up some skills. And to welcome you to join us in our executive development courses, you can scan the QR code over there, or you can always get onto our Facebook or website to find out more. Okay? All right. Next, which will bring me to the next slide. Now, MIS we goes virtual right now. As we all know, we can't attend physical classes, environment. So the best thing that we can do right now is to go virtual. I think there's a lot of value coming from virtual training. Number one, I think you are at the comfort of your place. You can be at home, you can be in your office, comfortably sitting, and then while gaining knowledge at the same time. Second thing, it actually cuts down on your travel journey, right? You calculate your travel journey every day, having to spend probably an hour down to a training venue and then back again another hour. The only setback is perhaps the interaction, the face-to-face interaction itself. Now, this is something that I think we can live by. I mean, certainly, I think we can compromise. Looking at the journey traveling of about 2 hours, you cut down, and then you can always catch up. After the training sessions, make friends, networking. I think that is utmost important. All right, so MIS we goes virtual, so through our learning platform on Zoom itself. So do join us. All right, click on to our like button on our Facebook. All right, this is something that we've been talking about that all along. So if you value our webinar sessions, hopefully you'll be able to share it together with your fans or your friends on Facebook. Okay. All right. So please go onto your Facebook, click onto that button. Okay. I think we've reached the end of today's session. Thank you, Cecilia, once again, and you deserve a round of applause. And we will see all of you tomorrow. Thank you.